Hey everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing a really neat little remote control spy tank. This is the iSpy Mini Tank by Happy Cow. Comes boxed kind of nicely here with the display in the front. You can open it up. It's got some information on the back. It's got about 15-meter unobstructed range, so when you drive it around your house you can get out of range with it. It just runs off the app on your smartphone or tablet. It has a 3.7 volt 450 milliamp I'm sure it's probably, it says LiPo, but it's probably a lithium ion battery inside of there, but I'm not for sure. But it's built inside. You cannot remove it. It's on the bottom. I'll show you here where you charge it in a moment. Just a neat little guy that runs, it said, just solely off of an app. But it's really small, and it looks kind of cool with the little eyes on the front that light up, and here in the rear. It's got the antenna that you make sure it's up to get better reception. On the top here is actually kind of like the turret, but it lifts up, as you can see, and then back down, and that lets you lift it up, and you can look around. It doesn't pivot, like a turret, but it'll go all the way up and come back down. That's all done from the app, so you can raise it up to spy or bring it back down. It's got these rubber tracks, that it uses to drive around. So the battery's built in on the bottom. It's got an on and off switch here on the bottom. And the charging port is a USB cable, and it plugs in with this little bitty thin plug. It plugs in the bottom, plug it into a USB connector on the wall or your computer. It takes about 2 hours to charge the tank up, but you get about a half an hour run time. So you get a nice little run time out of this. So, not so bad considering that you get a long run time. The SSID for the network to identify is labeled on the bottom of the tank, so you know what to look for to connect to on the Wi-Fi on your phone or tablet before you set up the app. But it's not real quick, but it gets around decent enough. It's a little touchy on the app controls when you're pivoting around as it rotates one track. So it takes a little bit of practice to get down to fine-tuning of the driving, but it's neat to drive around, and you get to record video to the app, like you're spying, and kids really like that. So I'll include some video side by side with the review so you can see the quality of the review. So the app that you're going to use is this iSpy Mini app, and it comes up here. And you tap the screen and you press go. Now obviously it's not going to work because I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi. So to connect to the Wi-Fi, you have to turn on the tank, and then I've already got it set up from the past. So you're going to go into your Wi-Fi here. My phone, we get to it, and that should come up here in just a moment. There it is, the HCD. Go ahead and press connect, and it may give you a warning on your phone that there's no internet access, of course, and just disregard that. And then you're going to go ahead and go back to that app, the iSpy Mini app. You may have to exit back out of it here, press go again, and there. You can see it's working here. You want to make sure that you turn your controls on. It's set to off. I don't know why, because when it's off you have no control of the tank at all. But you press on, and then you see the tank. There's the turning around. Now you can go ahead and press up on this arrow here, and I can raise the turret up, and then I can lower it back down. It's really quick to come back down. This is your photo and your video, to record your video or take a photo. You've got a gyro control. You can use it to drive with the gyros. See, that's kind of hard to do on a ground vehicle. And this here is, I believe this tells you how much battery power is on the tank, but it's not terribly accurate. And if you get it very far out of range, it'll go and say it has none. See, it went back up now. So you can also trim the steering here like you would on an old-fashioned car, but it's all built into remote, left or right trim for the steering of it. So that's pretty much all there is to it. The video records is just standard definition. It's nothing fancy, but it's good enough. So like I said, just make sure you turn on, see, the on-screen steering controls. So that should cover it for that. We'll go ahead and we'll take it out for a test drive around the house or outside. I haven't decided yet, and we'll put some video side by side with it. So let's move along now for the test drive. Okay, so I have the Happy Cow I Spy mini spy tank outside. I'm going to drive it around on my driveway. It's a little bit better lighting than inside my house. We might see if it'll go off in the grass. We'll show the turret raising up and down and some side-by-side video. Now it's supposed to have 15-meter unobstructed range, and I don't doubt that it does, though the Wi-Fi FPV video feed tends to get to freeze quite easily, and on that I'm a little bit stumped why. It doesn't seem to really matter on the range. So we'll see how that works, because that's obviously going to most likely mess up the recorded video. So I'm going to go ahead and set the tank down, and I'm going to grab my phone here and let's make sure that the video feed is still active, and it is. You want to make sure you turn the controls on for the controls, otherwise it won't work. I believe I was a little uncertain earlier why they did that. I think it's because if you're using the gyro controls, that you don't bump the on-screen controls and mess it up. So let's go ahead and we'll start recording. Or just turn the recording button yellow, and that knows we're recording. And let's go ahead and take it forward. As you can see here, hopefully it shows up if I got my camera on my head tilted down enough. It's not very fast. It's made to go around your house and spy. Right there, the videos are already getting a really choppy. But I don't know if it'll be any better on what's recorded. But like I said, it does have a tendency to freeze up in the app. I'm going to turn it around and face me and stop here. I'm going to raise up the camera. See, the camera raises up, and you see my hold my phone here, my microphone, and then it's going to go back down really quick. So you can kind of raise it up to spy also. My kids like to drive around and look at grandma or whatever with it. We're using their tablet. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording video here just to make sure I've got sufficient video recorded to my phone, since that did not freeze up. So I don't really recall that being an issue in my other tests, especially from the tablet. Now this phone is, it's a pretty good phone, so I don't know why it's freezing up occasionally on me. I'm going to go ahead and try to record some more video, but if we have any issues, at least we have that to put side by side. It's just a standard resolution. There's nothing real fancy about the video feed or the camera. Let's see if we you can see it's a little bit touchy on the controls. You got to really make sure you push to the left or right. Let's see if it'll go off in the grass here. Yeah, and there it looks like it's kind of stuck. Let's try backing it up. Just getting stuck on a rather large clump of grass. So it's actually got decent power. It's just because it's so small, that's why it's getting stuck on the clumps. But if it weren't for the size of the clumps, I think the tank would have no problem going through it. See that? There it's getting, you kind of try to drive it through this. Yeah, it's just getting, doesn't have enough clearance, and it's getting stuck on the, let's see if it goes up here. Oh, it's trying. It just doesn't have enough clearance, and it's getting topped out there on top of the grass, and it can't make it over. Otherwise it has enough power, but I wouldn't think you'd have any trouble driving it in some dirt, as long as it's really smooth dirt. But like I said, this is really designed for indoors, to drive around and spy. Kind of sounds creepy to say spy, but that's what they call it. But just to drive it around and look around your house, a floor view, or maybe spy on your pets. Let's raise the camera back up. You can do that while you're driving. It gets up really high, and you can lower it down some, and then it kind of slows down as it moves a little more upwards. But it does come down really quick. There's quite a bit of wobble there as it's hitting some bumpy spots in the pavement. I'm going to go all the way down. It kind of looks a little bit better here outside, it up a little bit. But I don't recall the cost of this. I know it wasn't really expensive. It was a lot smaller than I anticipated. But I think, as a Christmas present or something, I think this would be a really neat little toy for a young kid, and not necessarily a boy either. My girls really like it. Something you could, they'd love to drive around the house. Or like I said, outside on a day like today where it's nice and dry and you got some flat pavement to drive it on. If it were bigger, obviously it could go off-road. It seems to have the power. It's just not large enough to get through the thick grass. I'm going to stop recording here, so I've got the second set of footage saved. It'll come up and say recorded. That's how you know that it's saved it to your device. Overall, I think this is a pretty cool little toy. Like I said, really aimed at kids. You know, probably 8 to 15-year-olds would probably be my guess. But for the price and what it does, I think it's really neat. I really do like it. I know my girls are certainly going to continue to play with it with their tablet and drive around and look under the couch and stuff like that. But there's really not a whole lot to it. That kind of just shows that there's not a whole lot to really demonstrate with this guy except for the video and how you drive it. And for app controls, I don't mind it. I said it's a little touchy, but you know, it's a ground vehicle and it's slow, so not a big deal. If it were, you know, I hate app controls only for drones. It's just not. It just doesn't have the right sensitivity and feel to be precise. But on a ground vehicle this slow, it's certainly fine. That helps reduce the cost. Alright, I'm going to bring it back up here, and I think that should wrap up this review. There's no sense to just continue to drive this around because I think it gives everybody an idea what it can do. Overall, you know, pretty neat little guy, considering it's not real expensive. And the recorded video is okay. So I think that's pretty much everything. So be sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I got a few more things coming up here to review, and have a good day.
The power of the dark side.